This particular grab bag question, I think even Gandhi would have a hard time with, but I'll take a stab at it. Someone has asked, what constitutes success when chronic illness makes the usual career achievements impossible? As I've mentioned before, with chronic illness comes clarity of vision. And what I mean by that is sometimes with chronic illness, whatever it is, and depending upon the severity, of course, we sometimes wonder if our days are numbered, and we always wonder about the quality of our days, and we want to make sure that we spend it with the right people. We want to make sure that we leave a legacy. Like things become real. It's not like we lose our sense of humor, but we don't have time for BS. We don't have time for friends who are fickle. We want real. So the definition of success changes when you get a chronic illness. That said, I think being happy in the now, I think, is very important when you have a chronic illness. So for me, success is often defined by being happy. How many times do I smile in a day? Because after all, work, friends, everything comes up to whether it makes you happy or not. And I have tremendous respect for people who are happy. Because that means they've made a lot of choices, and for whatever reason it's all worked out for them. That's hard to do. So for me, I think one definition of success is being happy. I don't equate career achievements with success. I never have, and when I got a chronic illness, I certainly reinforced that belief that career achievements really have nothing to do with success. Let me elaborate. While I always aspired to be a movie producer and an entertainment attorney, I never lost sight of the fact that if you were lucky enough to find something you loved, and then you were fortunate enough to have an opportunity to make a living at it, you were a huge success. Doesn't matter how much money you made or what career achievements you had, to me, you are a very successful person. If you went a different route and decided to just work to make money so that you could raise a family, and then your children go on to college or to graduate school or to law school and have happy lives and become married, you are a tremendous success. It doesn't matter how much money you made in your life. It doesn't matter what career achievements you had. But if you decided to raise a family and your children are happy, you are a tremendous success. I'm giving these examples to show people with chronic illnesses that there are other ways to define success. Of course, we all have to make money in life, but it really has nothing to do with success. Success has more to do with what we want out of life and whether we get it, or if we're on the road to getting it. As for me, I'm 48 and I've had Crohn's disease for almost 30 years now. And my definition of success has changed many, many times for many, many reasons. But at the moment, I define success, at least for me, by whether I am respected by people I respect for doing the best I can to overcome all the adversity that seems to befall me. As long as I'm trying and people I have great respect for show me their respect by their friendship or other ways, then to me, I'm successful. I know American Express and other credit card companies might not agree, but I truly believe that that makes me a success. I've also been in the honored position to give eulogies at 2 funerals of a close friend and a loved one, my dad. And I found it pretty interesting that, yeah, I had a script to read and to talk about, but I always wound up going off script. And I would always talk about how each of these people lived life and the different impressions they made on people. And to me, that's what made them successful. I never once talked about the kind of career achievements they had, or how much money they made, or what movies they made, or how much their house was. It was always about how they made people laugh, how they made people feel comfortable. So when you talk about success, I mean, at a funeral, giving a eulogy, that should be the place where, right, where we talk about, was this person successful or not? And I know it's never that blunt, but when it comes down to it, it's all about how they lived life, how they treated people, how people thought of them. And if people smile when they think of you and if people respect you, then you are a success. So when you have a chronic illness, you got to think about these things. You have to stop looking at your life and measuring it against a colleague who may have the ability to work at that big accounting firm and put in 6 years and then become a partner, or do it as a lawyer and go up the chain, have the big house, the white picket fence. Who knows? They could be so unhappy. They could be unhappily married. They could end up with a divorce. They could become a terrible parent because they should have never gotten married. I mean, there's so many ways I could go into it. So just worry about yourself and don't mix your career with success, because it has nothing to do with whether you're a success in life. How you handle your diagnosis of chronic illness will determine how successful you'll be. You know, there's an old adage that anyone can handle success, but it's how you handle failure that will determine ultimately how successful you'll be. And I've always thought about that, and I think it's very relevant to people with chronic illnesses, because when you're told what you can't do and your mind starts focusing on what you can do and you never look back, you're a success. I've also learned thus far in my journey that the currency of life is friendships. When you have a real friend that's built upon mutual respect, that's a real success. It's very rare these days. You'll know it when you see it, and when you have it, you got to treasure it. And again, I go back to my American Express example. I wish American Express and other credit card companies would accept this currency of friendships, but they don't. I'm still working on that. But in all reality, you got to find a way to pay your bills, but friendships make the world go round. And when you have a real friend who stands up for you, that's really quite something. When it's built upon mutual respect, they respect what you do, whatever it is, whether how you handle your illness or how you handle your job or how you handle taking care of your mom or dad when they're ill. And your other person could be a millionaire, but you respect how they donate their money, and they're so aware of charities, and they're very altruistic, and they're always working on bettering themselves. And I have a friend very much like that. It's a mutual respect that is such a tight bond that I consider that one of my greatest successes in life. And again, it doesn't help pay the credit card bills, but that's how I define success. It would help people with chronic illnesses to do the same. In a more direct answer to the question of what constitutes success when you have a chronic illness and the typical career achievements are gone, this is my answer. Keep in mind that those career achievements are just touchstones. They're milestones for keeping up with the Joneses. They make no sense to your life, and they shouldn't. And when you get a chronic illness, you learn that. More so, what I've learned over life is that the definition of success is individual to the person, and it changes over time. I'm 48. I've had about 200 hospitalizations, 16, 17, 18 major surgeries, and so many hard times. And the definition of success, you know, it changes for me. It's pretty much in the same general area as I've discussed. But now it's all about being happy. When I see someone who's happy, I marvel at that. I know how difficult it is to be happy. And I'm telling you, having money and having those career achievements, they don't bring you happiness. You know, that old adage where, you know, money can't buy you love and money doesn't bring you happiness. Money makes life easier. It helps pay the bills. But inherently, you need to be happy. And sometimes having no money, it's easier to find happiness because you have to search inside yourself for what really makes you happy. Because money could tend to blind you. Career achievements can tend to blind you. Those pats on the back by your supervisor could blind you. What is success to you? So try not to get caught up in the corporate or career milestones, because really that's the definition of the rat race. Don't get caught up in the rat race. See, your chronic illness right there has helped you get out of the rat race. That's a good thing. So go with it and do the best you can, and set attainable objectives, knowing that your chronic illness might get in the way, but just going after them and possibly achieving them, you'll be happy and you'll be successful. I'm sure Gandhi would have had a much more succinct answer to this question, But like I've said, I can only go with what's worked for me and what I've learned, and I don't profess to be the smartest person in the world, but I think I know the most about my life, and that's what I'm sharing here. But get away from those career achievements. It's a bad place to go, and I know Gandhi would agree on that. You gotta find happiness. Happiness is from within. It doesn't come from meeting billable hours at a law firm.